You're selling off stuff. I saw you selling the Viper parts.
Yeah, the Audis and stuff
Audis
like
are
that.
going.
Yeah,
Both R8s, right?
Yeah,
the R8s.
No, not the R8s. I have
the Quattro.
Yeah, so I have two 1983 Audi UR Quattros. So they're the original Quattros, the kind of like rally car pedigree, all that stuff. So they're projects, and both of them are in various states of disrepair, but they can be put together. And I do this thing where I buy cars, and I convince myself that I'm like, it's not going to be that bad. It's this is going to be a few weeks, I'll put it together. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be satisfying. And it is none of those things.
Yeah.
You get this car, I set eyes on it firsthand, and I go, why did I do this?
Yeah.
Like, why, first of all, why did I do this? Why would anybody do this?
Yeah.
And then I look at this and I'm like, I don't know when I'm going to do this, because I have all these projects that I have to finish before I can even think about, entertaining the idea of doing this or a Viper or something else that I have in my, deep storage shop. And I feel like to clear my own head, it's easier to just get rid of those, because it's not like I promised that this was going to be done for people.
Yeah.
I'll just try to get out the money, money that I had in it, and then put that money towards, like a lug nut on a P1 or something,
What do you does it bother you when you just admitted this basically, but does it bother you when people say that in the comments?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot of things that happen in YouTube that a lot of YouTubers say, oh yeah, it doesn't bother me, you have to have thick skin. Yeah. That's true. You do have to have thick skin. You have to let hundreds or thousands of comments kind of roll off your back if they're kind of baseless. But there are things that like jab at your insecurities. One of my insecurities is time management. So time management is not a strong suit, and I am overly optimistic when it comes to finishing projects and deadlines. So I have to, I'm trying to be more realistic on this, but it just seems like, I don't want to say like, oh, I'm bad luck and things just come up, but I feel like I don't account for a lot of things. Like the things I don't know, like the unknown unknowns, right? So that, and also scope creep. So with those three things, people, write comments that say, oh, why don't you finish your projects? Like, I spend every day trying to finish these projects. I'm not sitting at home just twiddling my thumbs. I am looking for solutions on very unique problems that are like super, super nerdy, that don't lend themselves well to being on camera. Things that are only specific to my project. And I am also in this space where, like, I'll just give you an example. So the McLaren P1 that I'm rebuilding, for anybody that doesn't know,
yeah, the what car?
Yeah. So I have a McLaren.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I know. It's
that's incredible.
Yeah. Nobody's seen it yet.
When are you going to start the videos on that?
Yeah. I'm going to start the videos about 3 years ago. So, the McLaren P1 that I have, it's a flood damaged car from Hurricane Ian. It was flooded in 2022, and then I bought the car about 3 months later from Copart, and decided to rebuild it. And it's a saltwater flood. The car was all the way underwater, so naturally everything needs rebuilding. And originally I was going to have the car just as a stock example, just have a nice clean stock P1. And then we kept going down and seeing that, like, what we had to replace. And I thought, why not do something interesting with this car? Something that McLaren never did, which is, I thought that the natural, like the spiritual successor of the McLaren F1, which was my favorite car, the McLaren F1 was the McLaren P1. But one of the things that the McLaren F1 had was that it was the fastest car in the world, like top speed wise. It still is the fastest naturally aspirated car. There is some sort of it might not be like the official, depending on the rules or whatever, but like still, it's it went 241 miles an hour when they took the speed limiter off. It was pretty crazy. So I thought, with the P1, why don't we make the fastest McLaren on earth? So right now, the fastest McLaren is the McLaren Speedtail. It does 250 miles an hour. And I feel like and the McLaren Speedtail is a 3-seater. It's, you sit in the middle, and then they kind of build that as the McLaren F1 successor, and it just wasn't.
It's the essence of the F1, but not really.
But it wasn't in any way. In any way.
Feels
so
like more like a niche cars. Like.
It was more car than you needed, and then it's also like heavy, and it didn't make any sense to me. It didn't follow that ethos. But I wanted to make a P1 that was lighter weight, more power, like the best version with the best technology that we have today. So I decided to go down that path. But unfortunately, that path is everything after I said, let's do it, is now custom. So everything. So everything, like in terms of wiring, in terms of engine work, in terms of transmission, in terms of marrying everything together, in terms of aero design, in terms of body, like just literally everything I have to make from scratch. And that takes time.
Wow.
And people are used to seeing, and there's no fault of their own. I'm not saying like people don't, they don't have the right expectations. There are the rebuild channels on YouTube that are rebuilding cars, quickly, and like Mat Armstrong is a really, really good example of this. The reason why he can do a rebuild quickly is, one, he is like, him and his team are machines.
Yep.
Like they work night and day. But they also do things where the car is mostly stock, like they'll do an exhaust, a tune, maybe a body kit or, wheels or something like that.
It's a car that's essentially coming off, it's more mass produced than a P1.
Correct.
Easier to source parts, easier to work, easier to find.
Correct. Now, granted, they do have, I'm not saying they don't have challenges.
We love Matt.
I'm not saying they don't like the Revuelto, they couldn't get the car started because Lamborghini had never encountered, this problem. And, they had an issue with the Aston Martin DB12 because it was too new and Aston Martin didn't like, so there's unique issues there. Totally understand. But when you have a car that they only made 375 of in the world, none of them are really driven all that much. You don't have any sort of knowledge base or any,
no forums to go on. Like
exactly. It's like I can't go on the P1 forums. Like, hey guys, how do you take off the hybrid battery pack?
Or the old Chilton manuals.
Exactly. I can't go into an AutoZone and get a Chilton, or a Haynes manual.
They don't have a P1.org.
They do not have a NYCP1s.org. They don't have one.
Funny story about that P1, Hurricane Ian. So the owner of the company that I run, he is a major CPA in Naples, Florida. And he knows the guy who lost that P1. And he told me, he's like, my buddy just lost his, $1 million car and all this and that. And next thing you know, I see it on TV. And it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Next thing you know, I see you have it.
Well, it's funny because that guy was home when the storm hit. He's recording it. The reason why we got that footage is because he was there. So that's also pretty nuts. Yeah. And
but you were saying that you are building a one-off custom. Not just you're not rebuilding a car. You're building almost effectively a new version of that car.
Correct. Yeah, we are reimagining one of the most iconic hypercars to ever exist.
And it's basically what Gordon Murray just did at Monterey, showing off this new... This thing's insane, the S1.
Yes.
And you're effectively doing your kind of take on the P1.
Correct.
Right? How did the whole Frank Stephenson thing come up? Because the last time, and for anybody that doesn't know this, Freddie and I have been friends for 20 years. So the last time I saw the car and I saw all this stuff, there was going to be this carbon fiber kit on the car. The rear clamshell wasn't fitting that well. Yeah. Did you end up cutting it in half?
So we cut it a bunch and to make things fit. But I always, the body was always an issue to me just because it seemed like, just overall theme wise, I never wanted this car to feel like a YouTuber slapped it together.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I never wanted anything to look like it's an afterthought, So one of the things that we did, I'm prefacing this. So one of the things that we did for, let's say, the turbos I got from a company called Tachyon, and they are the company that made the original P1 turbos to begin with. So I work with them to make a they CNC'd and like CAD designed all this stuff to create a turbo that fits in the same like footprint of the 720 turbos that I had, but they make twice the horsepower.
Right.
And this was then sent to Mitsubishi Japan, who made a prototype set of turbos from me, to me from them. And this would, this has all the, it's basically an OEM manufacturer. Like, so it's an OEM manufacturer of turbos for the, for all McLarens is Mitsubishi Heavy Industries Japan. So I don't think that's ever been done before. And the fact that like, I didn't just get, these turbos that were like modified, I gave it to some guy and he was like, just like mills it out or whatever. Like, no, this is from like the OEM
from directly from the source.
Exactly. And we're using a 4-liter block. We have custom rods and pistons that are, made for 14, 15, 1600 horsepower. They can handle 200 horsepower per cylinder. So, I mean, times 8, that's 1600 horsepower. Yep. And it's pretty insane. So when it came to the body, I always wanted to work with the original designer of the P1, Frank Stephenson. So Frank he had a YouTube channel, and he's, for all intents and purposes, like I thought he was a pretty nice guy. So I messaged him on Instagram and I said, all I wanted from him, like the best case scenario for me, was that we would do maybe a Zoom call, or like he would send me an email or something where he would tell me if he liked my project or didn't like my project, or like if he just said like, hey,
your name, your name,
I was like, hey, I think I gave him an email saying, if there's one thing that you could have put on the P1 that you didn't, what would it be? Because I remember he did an episode of Wheeler Dealers where, he was the original designer of the Ford Escort Cosworth. And the Ford Escort Cosworth has this like biplane wing, but Frank's original design had a third wing in the middle. So in the Wheeler Dealers episode, they went to Frank, and then Frank designed like a third wing. So that's like his original design. So I was like, that's really cool.
Kind of like the
STO.
Exactly. Yeah.
Huracan STO thing.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So I think I just wanted something that was like, maybe we go back to the original designer, and then we, work with him and make something kind of cool based on his recommendations. And then he goes, why don't I just design you a car?
That's so nice.
Wow.
And then I'm like, what? Like,
That's so, it's crazy because he clearly is a fan. He loves you. He sent you that picture that last year in December.
Yes.
You were gifted this thing. So I'm like, I'm at your shop and you're like, look what I got. I'm like, what is that? And you're like, that's Frank Stephenson's signature. I'm like, what? On an original P1 sketch, right?
Yes. Yeah. So we were doing this this little open house for people that didn't that couldn't make plans, because we had this Wrenchworks event that was canceled, and then the people who couldn't cancel their plans, we invited them to my shop, and we had Mike Brewer over and everything. And Mike Brewer's friends with Frank Stephenson. Yes. And he gave me the original like sketch of the P1.
That's so wild.
And like with the signature and his coffee stains and everything. Yeah. And I'm like, this is crazy. This is so nuts.
It's insane. Yeah. Like the guy, the guy who designs it, you'd think that he'd want to keep that sketch, but he was like, no, this YouTuber, what he likes a lot, can have it.
That's nuts.
And it's
I think that speaks volumes about you.
It's great. Well,
when you're passionate about something, people realize it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's Frank Stephenson's way of just really pushing you along, like keep going.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what the vibe was when I met him. So he invited me to the UK so we can do this thing on video where we just have like this design day. Yep. So I had no idea. Like I told him a few ideas that I had of the car, and I said I want it to be, based on like just kind of catered toward top speed, but I didn't want it to be a one-trick pony. I wanted it to also do the things a P1 could do, but it had to look like a P1, but it had to look special. Something like, like a Bugatti Chiron 300, Super Sport 300. It looks. It's a Chiron, but it's a special version. You can tell something's different about it. So he took that, and he didn't give me any, there's no preliminary sketches. I didn't see anything before that day. Mm-hmm. So I get to this country club just in the middle of UK, and I am so nervous. Like it is incredible how nervous I am because number one, I've never met Frank.
That's true.
Like I've never met him. This is the first time I'm meeting him, and then I'm meeting him in such in this environment where we are designing another P1 together, and I'm like, hey, I don't know if you know this, I make YouTube videos for a living.
Like imposter syndrome.
I don't know how to
Wow,
I am not Bugatti and I'm not Ferrari, and I'm like, I don't, the resources I have is effectively zero. But I mean, I have an audience and I have I can wrench all night, so I guess that I have that going for me. But when I met him, I thought that he was going to give me like a little napkin sketch or something like that. Like I thought, I honestly thought that like we would just sit down, like, oh, what do you, what kind of car do you want? Oh, maybe we can do this, maybe we can do that.
Here you go, little Timmy. Off you go.
I would have been ecstatic if that was the case.
Really?
I would have been ecstatic. Like, oh, I got a Frank Stephenson napkin. You know, that would have been cool. So when I got there, they had this room in this country club and this long table, and it was covered with pictures and models and like different things that were the inspiration for this P1 Evo, as we're calling it. So there was like the Porsche 917 race car. There was the McLaren F1 LM, and there's like different variations of that on like they sketched it. There's like models there. There's pictures of animals that have like the same sort of biomimicry that Frank likes to say. And then we start talking, and he shows me like several sketches and preliminary, and I'm not, when I say sketches, I mean like these are full color, everything's printed. It's awesome. Like the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is not real life, dude. Like this is is crazy.
You were messaging those to me, and I'm like, what am I looking at? This doesn't look preliminary, like rough drafts or anything.
Looks like McLaren worked on this.
It looks almost OEM, like factory looking.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They were amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, I spent the entire day trying to make myself not look like a complete goober, because I'm like, so what's it like making cars? You know, it's fun. It's good. But like he had so many. And he's, first of all, he's nicest guy in the world. Nice guy in the world. Me and his team, Harry and Ewan, we got along really well. We had lunch at the country club, and he would tell stories about, when he was at Ferrari and Maserati, and like just designing.
He has designed some pretty incredible shit.
The F430, the new Mini.
Yeah. And you have you have 3 of his cars. You realize that?
Yeah. The 675.
Yep.
The P1, the Scuderia.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I did have the.
You were meant to meet him.
I know. Yeah. Well, there you go. All I have to do is I'll buy a new Mini.
Yep. Did you ever have an X5? First gen X5?
No, I didn't have an
Did
X5.
He make that car?
Yeah, he designed him and somebody, some other guy. They both co-designed it. Yeah.
Yeah, but he came
allegedly designed the top portion of the car, and the other guy designed the lower portion. I was reading all this, researching for some reason about that.
But he showed me, because he had this book of designs and sketches. He showed me the car that they passed over to build the 458. So there was another car that they were
Really?
Yes. It was cool. It was really yeah. I can't remember what the name was, but it was dope.
So I
guess
so
the
he
458 did well too.
So he would have been a part of what could have been the 458
alternate.
Alternate.
Correct.
So there's an alternate universe in which a 458 was a Frank Stephenson design.